unplanned part 2. I don't have an unhinged introduction. Oh, I totally do. Okay, wait, roll it back. I have told Emily this before, but if I had been Katniss in the Hunger Games, in the scene where she and Peeta have the berries, I 100% would have given him the nightlock and eaten blueberries and let him die and win. It is the one thing I am so sure about where I was like, I don't care that much. I would have let him die.
Yeah. That was always something in, like, the first one. After I read it, I was like, yeah, it's sad that he dies, but you didn't care about him that much, did you? Did you?
I was like, oh no, Peter's dead. Ah. So, I apparently I am heartless for thinking that.
No.
But you know, it's a death match competition, man.
Yeah.
You gotta play it smart. And also the Capitol then would not be on your in the second book.
Yeah.
So in the first 5 minutes, that's gonna be bleeped. I don't know if you watched the last episode where you keep the amount of times where you named the store that you worked at, and I was like, I censored every single one.
Oh no!
I did, because I was like, I don't want that store to come at us.
I do. I'd sue them for everything they got. Come at me. That's what you get for underpaying your employees.
Oh, jeez. Welcome to the Feminine Byte.
You want to sue me for defamation? I'll sue you for unhealthy work conditions. Did I tell you I lost 20 pounds at that job just by working there?
With your host there and Emily.
Oh man, we are back for more Hunger Games.
More Hunger Games. This is strictly indulgent for me, Aaron. I am a Hunger Games girly. I don't have it on me right now. I should have worn it. You guys wouldn't be able to see it anyways. You can just pretend I'm wearing it. Like I have a Hunger Games pin and everything. So like, I don't know. I live and breathe Hunger Games. I went through a phase where I was like, never mind, Hunger Games is bad and uncool. And then, like, I became a college student. I was like, maybe I just like the Hunger Games and I should stop being a little bitch.
We all have that.
So this is purely indulgent for me. And we're gonna go over firstly some etiquette. Some online etiquette on how to interact with fandom when it comes to theory. Just because they have a theory that is bad, or you don't like it, or you don't agree, does not mean they are media illiterate. Please stop calling people media illiterate. The only person you're allowed to call media illiterate is Ron DeSantis. I don't really understand the joke or the humor of it because I don't have a Twitter. But didn't he like do his presidential campaign like announcement thing on Twitter? But it was like a internet shit show because it didn't quite work.
Yeah.
That's media illiterate.
Yeah.
I guess that's social media illiterate, not media illiterate. He's probably media illiterate considering that he is doing a bunch of book banning in Florida. I take it back. My statement is still true.
Yeah.
Ron DeSantis is media illiterate. He probably thinks that there's the gays in Looking for Alaska when there's not. Fun fact, you'll see Looking for Alaska on a bunch of banned book lists for LGBTQ stuff. It's not in the book. It's in the movie. So a bunch of these parents watched the movie and banned the book.
That's so stupid.
That is so 9th grade English of them.
Yeah.
Congratulations for showing off that you have the intelligence of a 9th grader who's like, I don't need to read the book, I'll just watch the movie.
I feel like a lot of and cut this out if I come off as a total bitch, but I feel like a lot of evangelical Christians do lack media literacy.
Yes.
Just in pure fact that they are like worshiping the Bible but don't even understand like what's in it.
You are correct. It is. The struggle is that they're fundamentalists, which means that they take the Bible word for word and they don't technically interpret it, except for they do, right? They do. They just say that they don't. Because, like when Martin Luther rebelled or whatever, he was like, I don't like that the books are in Latin and nobody reads Latin, and then you have to listen to the priest's interpretations because the layman's interpretations are also just as important. But fundamentalists are kind of like, listen to your pastor.
Interesting.
And we've sort of lost the plot on the idea that like redemption is through faith alone. That's what Martin Luther believed, but they're like, no, you can't have sex.
You're not allowed.
My most radical opinion is let priests fuck.
Period.
I genuinely think that like any sort of obligatory chastity is a human rights violation. I don't even care if it's a religious thing. I genuinely think it's a human rights violation because name a time where a celibacy clause has worked or helped. Listen to that silence. Listen to that silence. Listen to that silence.
It's crickets over here, man.
So, anyways, back to media literacy. Like, you honestly, you never know if the person who is like making bad theories or bad Hunger Games theories, you don't know if that is just someone who doesn't really understand the media itself or if it's like a 14-year-old who is just starting to engage with media in a more complex way. So, like, the next time you hear someone say Lucy Gray is Elma Coyne, don't yell at them. You can be, what's the word where you look at, you can be like, you can have contempt for them. You can patronize them. Like, oh honey, just don't fucking yell at them, okay? I'm just so tired of people yelling at people on the internet.
Valid.
So the Hunger Games Renaissance has brought up a whole swath of theories up from the grave, especially since like the ballads of songbirds and snakes confirmed a lot of new information, like the fact that the games can be rigged. And we're gonna give you a window into some of these theories. I'm gonna present Emily with some of these theories, and then we're just gonna questions lead the way. This is a very chill episode. I mean, we opened up with evangelical Christians, so I guess chill is not quite the word.
Is chill in our vocabulary, Aaron?
No.
Yeah.
No.
No.
I don't think it's there. So, the biggest one, this is an incorrect theory. There is no information that supports it, which is that Lucy Gray is Alma Coyne. Alma Coyne, she's the person who's in charge of District 13, the one that Katniss shoots at the very end. That's who that woman is.
Yeah.
Most people pretty much accept that Lucy Gray's not President Coyne, because, like, President Coyne is not the opposite of President Snow. She is sort of the counterpart. We discussed it in, like, the first episode that, like, Katniss kills Coin because the way that the systematic oppression works is that if you just get rid of the face of it, there will just be another Snow. And Coin wanted to be the next Snow. She didn't want to dismantle what was going on. She just wanted to be in charge of it and sort of gave this weird promise that she's going to be a benevolent dictator and different than Snow as a malevolent dictator. So Snow and Coin are not dramatic foils. They are one in the same pretty much, and that's why Lucy Gray cannot be Alma Coyne, because Lucy Gray, they have nothing in common. The timeline doesn't quite match up. The one piece of evidence that people hold on to, this is why it is purveyed around. If you're like, why do people think this? It's because Lucy goes into the direction where District 13 is, and so people think that she might have been picked up by 13 and then changed her name to Alma Coyne. yada yada yada. That's why that's like the only really shred of evidence, and I think it is a desire. I don't know if desire is the right word, but like people like making connections, and so I think they want Lucy Gray to reconnect with the main trilogy and have it be like, oh, she's this, she's that. It's just like one of those things when it's done really well. Like everything being connected can work really well.
Mhm.
The sequel to Little Thieves Painted Devils does this really well. But when it's not done well, you get like the Riverdale problem where everyone has a long lost sister, uncle, brother, someone showing up out of nowhere, everyone is connected, or Once Upon a Time where like he's your dad but also your grandpa and also your great grandfather is Peter Pan and your aunt is Belle. Like when you do too much connecting, you lose the plot.
Mhm.
So I assume I don't think Lucy Gray has Alma. I don't.
No. I don't.
I think
Yeah.
it's just people just want it to. They want Lucy to be in the trilogy, but like I don't know. Suzanne Collins was pretty much like she left whether or not Lucy Gray was alive or not up in the air. I mean, to me, it's pretty obvious that she wasn't because there wasn't a body found.
Yeah.
And rule of writing. Here's a writer's secret. Most of you actually will know this secret. This is not a surprise. If there's no body, they're not dead.
Yeah.
If there's no body, they're not dead.
Right.
Um, but like she did that just for like people can interpret she's dead. I honestly think like it would be interesting. Do you think? I guess I should ask you. Do you think Lucy Gray is alive or dead?
Oh. What's the time difference between the main trilogy again? It's like 60 years, right?
Yeah. I mean, she might be dead by the time Katniss is around, but I mean, like, when she flees the woods, did you think that Snow shot her or not?
I think I don't really have a lot to base this off of.
Yeah.
But I think that she may have been hit. I don't think she died.
Yeah.
I think she just got wounded and then she realized how dangerous Snow was and like that's why she ran away from him.
Yeah.
Where she could be, I am not sure. I would like to think that she just kind of,
Went off.
yeah, like lived out the rest of her life just like in peace.
Yeah.
Like, I say secluded cabin in the woods, but like, she was shot by
Yeah, yeah.
the secluded cabin in the woods, I guess, but
Another cabin.
yeah, a different cabin, a
Yeah.
nicer cabin without any men.
Without any men, yes. I personally also think she is alive because, again, if I don't see a body, I refuse to believe somebody is dead. And also, we learn from Sejanus, I almost just called him Janus, that when the like the Jabberjays and the Mockingjays will immediately mimic the voices around them.
Mm-hmm.
And when um Snow shoots Lucy or tries to shoot Lucy Gray, there is no the Jabberjays and the Mockingjays don't mimic any sort of scream or fall or anything like that. So I think that if she had gotten shot and killed, like that she would have made a sound, even if it was just hitting the ground, and they would have mimicked that, and there was just no mimicry there.
Yeah.
So I think she also got away, which is good for Lucy Gray, the one person to escape the fucking capital. Congratulations, Lucy Gray. So this one is we're gonna be talking about Katniss and all of them.
Mm-hmm.
So another theory, and this is very contentious. The 10th Hunger Games, Ballads of Songbirds and Snakes, confirmed that the games can be rigged. I know that you saw the movie and you didn't see the book, but there's way more rigging in the book than you will ever imagine. And I mean, part of that is also like the snakes. Like that is they rigged that so that everyone would die. You know what I mean? So some people think that the 74th Hunger Games was rigged, and some people don't think it's rigged. They think that some people think that like Katniss was like Prim was reaped on purpose to get Katniss to volunteer. That is the one where I'm like,
that'd be really hard to fake, I feel like.
yeah, because Snow would had to have known who Katniss was ahead of time.
Right.
And also, Katniss was never a rebel. She is sort of like the power was thrust upon me, and now I'm kind of stuck with it. That's sort of her thing. It's not like Harry Potter where she's a chosen one. But and this is what I think though. I do think the 74th Hunger Games was rigged, but I don't think it's rigged for any of the reasons that people are talking about, where it's like, oh, they wanted to get Katniss, and oh, I think this is again that sort of idea that people want there to be intention and connections, and they want everything to sort of like be influenced by each other. Like, I think they're like, oh, because Lucy Gray was like, the last thing she talked about to Snow was Katniss. And then Snow knows that there is now a girl named Katniss, and there might be a connection there. Like, they want these things that are connecting to be connected. And, like, I get it. Again, I get it. It just, when you apply the least bit amount of logic, it eventually falls apart. Because why would Snow care about some girl
named after a plant
in District 12?
Yeah.
Like, think about the people in Washington. Do you think Marjorie Taylor Greene knows my name? Do you think Ron DeSantis knows my name?
No.
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 No. You like it's. I understand where they're coming from, but it's just something that doesn't make sense. I do think it was rigged, though. Okay, so you're just gonna have to stay with me. I'm gonna ramble. Okay. So the youngest winner in the Hunger Games history is Finnick Odair, and he won at 14. That's important. So I think that for the 74th Games, that they were rigging it to intentionally pull 12-year-olds so that they could get a 12-year-old winner to justify having 12-year-olds in the reaping, right? Because if you think about this like a game, right? If one portion of the group is being disproportionately like always losing, it kind like you lose some of the glamour of it. You know, it's like even the loser teams statistically have to win eventually. You know, the Red Sox win a World Series, the Cubs win a World Series. I don't know a lot about baseball. I just know that when those two teams won their respective World Series, everyone lost their shit because those teams always lose. And so if statistically the teams that almost always lose still never win, you would identify at that point that there must be a problem in the system itself, and that needs to be rectified.
Yeah.
There's this like bad game show that would try to do this, like who had, you know, if we have some people living in a modern environment and some people living in like a caveman environment, who has the better shot? Lo and behold, it's the people living in the modern environment, and also this like sort of Survivor-esque kind of game show was disproportionately in the favor of the men versus the women, because it's like feats of strength, like this and that. And also when you're trying to create a game like Survivor where it's contestants, you want to make sure that you have contestants that can compete. You know, when you don't want it so that like the if you pick all of your things to be super big strength based things and you only pick girls that are models, none of the girls are ever going to win. You got to pick girls who also rock climb. You have to pick girls who also wrestle. You have to have a variety of people so that way not one side of any ratio is disproportionately winning.
Mm-hmm.
And it's complicated, but if you do it right, the game is fun. But the problem is that the Hunger Games itself is supposedly a lottery, and so there is no way to make sure that there are winners in all of the age groups because it is supposedly a lottery. And if you think about it in terms of entertainment value, the 12 to 14-year-olds are there for the bloodbath, right? You need people to die a lot at the beginning because people find it entertaining. So you have people that don't always make it. However, there are still like capital citizens that like the 12, 13, 14 year olds. Finnick, I also think Finnick was fixed to win. I think his game was also rigged so that he would be a winner. But um so if you think about this in terms of entertainment, I could see that the capital is growing sort of frustrated. Like, why are we putting 12-year-olds and 13-year-olds in here? They never win. Maybe we should be doing it 14 to 18 because at least we know that 14-year-olds can win. Like I said, you want the losers the groups that almost always lose to win once or twice. So what does this have to do with the fixed reapings? Okay. We get two 12-year-olds that are reaped, and that is Rue and that is Prim. And I don't think it's a coincidence that they reaped the 12-year-olds from the districts that are least likely to have volunteers. Because obviously, you would want a 12-year-old career. She has the best shot of winning. But the career's volunteer, so there is no way for them to fix it.
Yeah.
There's no way for them to fix it up there because of the environment they've created. They have sort of kind of shot themselves in the own foot. But there's not a lot of winners from 11. There's not a lot of winners from 12. And there's not a lot of 12-year-old winners. So you kind of get two birds, one stone. You get a victor from a district that doesn't always win. Again, you want the losers to occasionally win so that people don't become disinterested in them as participants. So Rue is notably paired up with Thresh. I think Thresh was. I don't think that Rue and Prim, I should say this, that like Rue's and Prim were specifically chosen. I think they evaluated which of the district girls in each district were the strongest and had the most practical skills, and they only drew from those set of girls because she's the person who calls and uses the mocking or the mocking jays in order to signal that like it's time to go home.
Yeah.
So you know that she knows how to climb trees, you know that she knows how to use these birds, and you know that she's good at being quiet and out of place, and because she's from that district that she has more nutrients because she's from the grains district or the agriculture district, right? And then you have Prim, whose sister is a hunter. I'm sure that the capital knew that Katniss was a hunter. I think they knew that. I don't think they cared, but it put Prim in the pool of girls because Prim has a chance of surviving because she's the fittest in terms of like natural selection and things like that. She is the fittest. She is one of the most well-fed kids in that district.
Yeah.
So I don't think it was specifically Rue, specifically Prim. I think that they were just in the pool of girls that could have been pulled. And you might be thinking, Aaron, this is crazy. But look who they got paired up with. Thresh, big, burly, scary dude who has a soft spot for Rue. You can easily see that Thresh has this sort of paternal, wants to protect Rue. You see that in the Hunger Games when he spares Katniss for Rue. So you would think that Rue is going to pair with Thresh, and Thresh is going to keep her safe until the very end. And that is the same exact dynamic that they set up with Prim and Peeta. I don't really think that it's like, oh, they knew that Peeta had a crush on Katniss or anything like that. I think it was, again, Peeta is a big, strong dude who's got younger siblings, which means he might have a more paternal thing about Prim. And the fact that Prim just happens to be the sister of someone he likes, that is like icing on the cake. They were like, I can't believe we stumbled into that. That's gold. So I think that they pulled these two girls and those two boys together specifically so that those boys can kind of carry them to the end. And then at the end, either like Thresh and Peeta kick the shit out of each other until one of them survives, or they attack the two girls in order to like get them to kill them so it looks like they were like naturally killed, or something like that, or they could attempt to get their girls to the very end, of course, and then like either one of them kills one of the girls in their sleep, like a very peaceful one, and then they let the one girl win. I don't know how it would end up because, again, we've never seen it. And at that point, I'm just expositing how I think it would have happened. But I really do think that they wanted a 12-year-old winner, and they wanted a 12-year-old girl. Because, you know, Snow points it out that it's like, yeah, I mean, it's, you know, the boys obviously have a better chance at surviving because of the gender roles in my society. So I think that they were like, if we could get the District 12-year-old girl to win, that would assuage everyone's fears. And everyone would accept the 12-year-old, and people would stop bitching about the 12-year-olds if they could just get that 12-year-old girl to win. The problem is that they did not consider that Katniss would volunteer, and that threw everything off, which is why I think Snow just fucking hates her. I think that's why Snow doesn't like Katniss at the beginning. I really think it's because they were like, this was supposed to be fixed, but we can't let them know that it is fixed, so we have to let it happen this way.
Yeah.
What do you think? I don't know.
I mean, at least, like, the reapings themselves, I could see that being very plausible. I just, like, I'm wondering how they could have, you know? Because it's like, because isn't it, remind me, it's been a while since I've either read the books or I haven't watched the first movie in a while.
Yeah.
But isn't it like all of the kids have to go and put their names in there individually?
No.
It's not?
It's done for them.
Oh, then, okay, never mind. Then I 100% know how they could have rigged that.
Yeah. I mean,
got it.
We literally see it happen in the 10th Hunger Games where he pulls out a name and, like, I don't know if it's harder to tell in the movie, but in the book, Snow says he doesn't even look at the sheet of paper before he says Lucy Greybeard. Like, he doesn't look at the paper.
Really?
Yeah. Like, you know that Lucy Gray was fixed to go into the Hunger Games because is it Mayfield her name?
I think so.
Mayfair? Mayday Parade, Cinco de Mayo. Little old Cinco de Mayo. She's like the mayor's daughter, and the mayor is the one who called out the names, and she was like in love with Billy Tope. And Lucy Gray is like Billy Tope's ex, so she basically told her dad, hey, put Lucy in the Hunger Games so she can die so I can have Billy Tope. I think it's Mayfair.
I'm scrolling. Mayfair Lip?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, we know that game is genuinely fixed. And that's the same thing how I feel about, like, Phoenix games, where it's like I think they also fixed that to get a 14-year-old to win, because at that point, I'm pretty sure that, like, they only had 16 and up winning. Like, I could imagine that the Capitol's like, what is the point of having the younger cast? And of course, Snow is like, gonna say it's to punish the districts, and they're like, yeah, but it's not entertaining to get attached to these 12, 13, 14-year-olds, and also Finnick is very hot, these creepy, capitalists. So they're like, we want younger winners, and Snow kind of has to deliver on that.
Yeah.
It's weird when you have to really, like, we never really think about the Hunger Games as a piece of, like, entertainment as much as we have until we got this new movie and this new book, because we got to see the other side of what the Hunger Games looks like, and now you just are like, there is nothing genuine about this game. There's nothing organic about this game. The entire thing is fixed. And, like, I think we all kind of knew that because reality shows like Keeping Up with the Kardashians and other shows like that, they're all fixed. All of those shows where they're like house hunting and trying to buy houses, they buy the house before they start filming.
Yeah.
So, like, so sometimes, some shows are really, really obvious about it, because they'll, like, you gotta just listen to, like, what they say about each house, and you can figure out which one they have already bought. My boyfriend and my friend didn't believe me when we were watching it, and I predicted which house they were gonna buy 3 times in a row. And they were like, fuck you, Aaron. It's like, I'm sorry. Well, reality TV is a sham. It's not real. It's all fake. Everything is fixed. And now we're, like, more aware than ever that the Hunger Games is a piece of entertainment, and it is just as fixed. Even though we've seen Katniss's side to it, I just don't think it was really that apparent until this book was written. Which means that this book was, like, perfectly timed for Susanna Collins to be like, no, like, this is such fake entertainment. Because, with that in mind, if the idea is we need a 12-year-old winner, weren't you ever wondering how Rue managed to survive, knowing that, like, the capital can cause just a forest fire to get you to run in the other direction? Why did the game makers leave Rue alone the entire game? They never did anything to Rue.
Yeah.
It's like, because I think they wanted her to win. I think when Rue and Katniss, like, got up and Katniss was like, well, I'm gonna protect her, everyone was like, okay, the plan is still on board. We can still get this fucking 12-year-old to win. And then Marvel.
Yeah. It's like, it's so... I mean, obviously, the Hunger Games, the concept is nothing but, like, its morbidity is in the fact that it has parallels to
The real
world. But it just makes the creepiness of the capital around children so much more real.
Yeah.
In a way. Like, when you were saying, like, we want these 12-year-olds to win, and, like,
for entertainment value, you want the loser participants to win sometimes, and it's like, I don't want to think about them like that.
Yeah, the way that, like, Finnick is objectified a lot, even, like, just from what you see in, like, Catching Fire, too. I can't even imagine.
I mean, Finnick is also a sex slave. Like, let's not forget that he is prostitute.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Man.
There's a theory that some people think that Katniss would have been prostituted out if they hadn't done the whole, like, star-crossed lovers things with Peeta.
Yeah. I don't like that. I don't like that.
It is well accepted that most Hunger Games victors are prostituted out. And that is just, like, another layer to, like, the insidiousness of this whole society, where it's like they think that the winners are so cute and so sexy that, like, they want to sleep with them, and some of them are children. So, like, is the penchant for a 12-year-old victor Yeah, your whole face just scrunched up.
Ew. Okay. Yep, I'm back. That was such a visceral reaction.
Yeah, and Francis Lawrence. No, it's not Francis Lawrence. I keep thinking it's Francis Lawrence. It's. Who's the director? I know it's Lawrence because I had to Google is Jennifer Lawrence related to this guy, and is this just a vanity project and there's no relation? Who's the director?
Yeah, Francis Lawrence.
Oh, I did say it right.
Francis Lawrence and Gary Ross.
So, like, Francis Lawrence said in For Ballads of Songbirds and Snakes that he was like, when we were thinking about casting and things like that, something he wanted to say was that it is an equal opportunistic death match. We are like, of course, kids with Down syndrome are going to get pulled. Of course, somebody who is dying of tuberculosis is going to get pulled. Nobody is safe. And for the 10th Hunger Games, that makes a whole heck of a lot of sense because at that moment it is not glamorized. I think by the time we get to the 74th Hunger Games, where these are now celebrity icons, that you would never see someone with Down syndrome get pulled because I think the capital society would see them as too ugly. And, like, somebody dying and coughing, that's not sexy to watch. Like, you know, when you watch Survivor and things like that, everyone is gorgeous. You know? Like, and that is a factor, is that people like seeing beautiful people. So I'm pretty sure in the Hunger Games itself, one of the contestants has a broken leg that he breaks during training, and they still send him in. So it's like the Capitol will, if you sustain any injuries while you're in training, you will still go in injured. But like I think by the time we get to the 74th Hunger Games, where it is about beauty, that they're not going to draw ugly people. So I'm safe.
That's not true. Don't talk about my friend Aaron like that. We got beef.
So, that is like my biggest theory though. Just like I think it's fixed. I think Prim was supposed to be the winner. Katniss ruined it all. Who is I do have this question. Like, who are your like top 3 tributes?
In the original trilogy?
Any literally from any of them. I'm just curious. This is like better than your star sign is like who your favorite Hunger Games tribute is. It says a lot about you.
I love Joanna.
Yeah.
I love her so much. I think she's gotta be my number 1.
Yeah.
Now I have to like think of all of them. There's so many. My number 2 is probably now I'm forgetting his name. In the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, the guy that like pulls down the banner.
Reaper.
Yeah, Reaper. I love him. And that's why I wanted more of him, because that was like a really.
You gotta read the book. There's a lot of Reaper in the book.
Oh, good.
He apologizes to everyone before the games for killing them. Like, he apologizes in advance. It's so fucking metal.
I love that moment of him like honoring the fallen and still like giving a middle finger to the Capitol.
And everyone in the Capitol freaking out.
Yeah.
That is such an American flag moment. You knew that they were referencing the American flag.
Yeah.
Like
yeah. And then the simp in me wants to say Finnick.
Say Finnick.
'Cause it's like he's
He's hot.
Yeah.
He's charismatic.
Yeah.
He gives Katniss a sugar cube.
I want a sugar cube. Anyway, okay.
He dies a horrendous and horrible death, and Suzanne Collins says she regrets killing him.
Yeah. He would have been so good for the rebellion.
Yeah.
And like I mean farther than
Yeah.
Justice for Finnick.
My my number one actual tribute actually is Mags.
I love Meg.
Mags is my profile picture on Discord actually. That's her. Yeah, so look up on your phone Mags Hunger Games Victory Tour posters. She's super fucking hot in those Victory Tour posters. But Mags is the 11th winner. So like she wins the year after Lucy Gray.
Oh.
Yeah. I love Mags.
Wow, look at her.
Yeah.
She's so cute. Oh.
So I like Mags. I also like Clove. She's the one who almost kills Katniss, but then Thresh kills her.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I like her because she is such a like she has such a like drunk the Kool-Aid energy of like she truly believes in what the Capitol is doing and she's so psycho about it. And like there's like a tragedy of her when she dies screaming for Kato because she is the District 1 girl and she's 15 and she volunteered for that position. It is she is just she's got like a Azula energy. I think I like her cuz it's like that Azula sort of energy of like you believe in this but they don't care about you. And then my third one, which is like I like Wyrus for one reason. I think she's the District 2 girl in the second book. It's Wyrus and Beatty, the one like the tech dudes, or maybe that's District 3. I don't remember. But she's the one who in the second book she gets like hit with a bolt of electricity and she is just loco the entire rest of like and I'm pretty sure she dies.
Yeah.
But in the books and in the movies, she'll go tick tock, this is a clock.
Yeah.
And um I say that whenever clocks are brought up or the words like tick tock, not when it's tick tock the app, I don't really say it when it's tick tock the app, but like I'll just like somebody or if somebody says tick or like something I'll just be like I have so many memories of being with my ex friends in college, but they'd be something, and I'd be like looking at something, and I go tick tock. This is a clock.
That's iconic.
It's one of those little things where I'm like, I constantly reference her. It's that. It's also. I also always reference High School Musical whenever somebody asks me what time it is. I say it's party time from the second movie.
That's so funny. Yeah, I think Wyrus and Beatty were like
they're so fun.
Yeah, they were like I think they were the most interesting tributes out of everybody.
Because like their whole thing is like we're not strong but we're smart. And you see that unfortunately you don't really see it in the movie of Ballads, but in the books and Ballads, the District 3 kids, they like take the broken droids and they like reconfigure them to like help them in the arena. So like you can see like, oh, that's like a Wyrus and Beatty thing.
Yeah.
Cause like, you know, when you watch Ballads or when you read Ballads, you can pretty much find a parallel for most of the people from district to district. You'd be like, okay, these guys are kind of like Katniss and Peeta. Carl is Coral. I don't know why I say Carl. I'm not saying Carl, I promise. I was listening back to our last podcast episode and I was like, all right, Aaron, you actively said Coral. Good. And then at the very end I was like, and Carl, I was like, fucking damn it.
Carl, that kills people.
Coral, she has very much Joanna vibes. Even though she's from the 4th district, which is Phoenix district, she's definitely got big Joanna vibes. Like the parallelism is thick and strong because Suzanne Collins knew we were going to be comparing it to the Hunger Games, and she really leaned into that. And since part of her messaging is like, if you don't defeat the system, you will just get repetitions of the same stories. So like that's what we see in 10. So when in the 10th game, so when we see those two characters, we're like, oh, that's like Wyrus and Beatty. It's because it's like, oh, there's always gonna be another Wyrus and Beatty and another Rue and Thresh and another Katniss and Peeta like that. It's just gonna keep repeating like that because of the way that the system is set up. So like by the time when you reread the original trilogy, you're like, this is just another Coral because that the game just keeps perpetuating itself and nothing ever changes. And it's such a genius way of using parallelism to like convey a point where it's like golf clap. Like, I love Suzanne Collins. I don't know why I ever doubted her. The marketing, Suzanne, you need to get a better marketer because your marketing team did a shit job with ballads.
Yeah.
Everyone thought it was this weird apologist love story.
Yeah.
And then they read it and they're like, oh, it's not a weird apologist love story. This is Snow thinking that he's right for 40 minutes straight.
Well, that's why I was turned off to it at first. I was like, oh, I'm not going to read that, or I'm not going to
Yeah, because I was like, I don't want to read a weird, gross love. I was like, of all the things to do, Snow's origin story?
Yeah, yeah.
When everyone is begging for Hey Mitch's games.
Oh my god.
And I know a lot of people on TikTok are like, well, we kind of already know everything from the previous games. I guess we don't technically need to see, like, their games. And, like, yes. However, the fact that I want to see their games is exactly what Suzanne Collins is trying to prove. That, like, as a consumer, I want to see this violence because I find it entertaining. So, like, Suzanne, keep driving your point home. Start making these books.
Please. I'm already such, like, a absolutely shameful simp for Haymitch. That, like, Haymitch is gay. Oh, man.
I had canon that Haymitch and Effie got together in the end. I think they're perfect for each other.
Yeah, 100%.
These two people that are stuck with each other for decades. Like, 25 years. They were stuck together for 25 years. You're telling me they did not have sex at least once?
Right. Also, like, all of the trauma bonding they must do.
Yeah.
Like, having to take tributes to the Capitol and watching them die year after year after year. There's no way that they're not, like, bonded together.
Yeah. Absolutely. Also, another theory that people have is why they send Capitol people to reap the names is specifically because they all saw Lucy Gray get reaped in a fixed reading, and why they don't have the mayors do it anymore. But I mean, it's just like, they're still fixing it, though. This game is not fair. And, like, the movies give you a better insight, actually, than the book does. Like, when the forest fire starts, it's the Capitol putting a log there so that Katniss goes the other way. And, like, they use the arena to push kids towards each other so that they kill each other and things like that, and all of these things. It's like, there's nothing real about these games. And it makes me sad.
Yeah.
Which book was your favorite?
The first one.
Yeah.
I think. I never, like, when I was reading The Hunger Games, I started not... I mean, like, I was interested by Catching Fire, but it didn't catch me like the first one did.
Yeah. I love Catching Fire.
That's fair. When I watched the movie, I liked it a lot more than I thought I would.
Yeah. The movie really does help capture, like, the fact that Katniss is like, I just want to get through this, and Haymitch is like, this is the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Like, you can clearly see where she fucked up and that there's no way to get over that, and, like, I love it. The one thing that I just wish that we could have done without is the love triangle. I'm sorry, Suzanne Collins. I'm sorry, love triangle stans who have lots of theories about the thematic implications of the love triangle and how the pregnancy thing at the end is supposedly makes sense. Bless your hearts. I don't fucking care. The love triangle was stupid.
No, I feel like the love triangle was so forced because I feel like the Hunger Games was coming off of
Twilight.
Yeah. So like everybody was still freaking out about like Jacob and Edward.
Team Edward or Team Cullen?
Yeah, Team Edward or Team Jacob.
Team Edward or Team Cullen?
I'm Team Cullen. Hi, I'm Emily. I'm a bisexual and I am Team Cullen. I am in love with the entire Cullen family.
I'm Cullen sexual.
Alice, gay awakening. So yeah, I feel like that whole I can't obviously speak for Suzanne Collins.
Yeah.
But I feel like the whole of the love triangle thing was pushed onto her just for the mere fact that she was writing a YA novel off of the coattails of
the Twilight, yeah.
Of the Twilight series.
Cuz like the fake love story between Katniss and Peeta, that is where that is such an ingenious way to write a love story. Like, there is so much drama in that.
Mm-hmm.
And to just, like, wrap Gale up in it is, like, sure. Okay. Why? Because, like, I get it, like, I have this theory, and it's almost always proven right, which is the love interest of the main character is the first character of the opposite gender that they talk to in the book. that is not related to them.
Yeah. Middle school.
It's
middle school.
So, like, Gale is the first male character that talks to Katniss that's not related to her, so of course they're gonna be love interests, and the second one is Peeta. So, like, of course, like, it's this, I think it's this, like, desire that you want the main character to have as much time with the love interest so that their love story feels believable. So this isn't necessarily an insult of any way. Like, I understand it. The novel No, actually, the first male character Enda's talks to is not, in fact, one of her love interests. It's her sister's love interest. But he's also the bad guy. And the other love interest is also the bad... Never mind. Spoilers for a novel that's not published. So, like, I get why, but, like, I think Gale having feelings for Katniss, that's interesting. Katniss clearly doesn't have feelings for him. And the one scene, I will never forget it. I will never forgive you, Suzanne Collins, for it. I'm sorry, you're a great writer, but this is the cross I'm crucifying you on. Don't look at me like that. And it's the scene when they're in the sewers and Katniss is, like, asleep and she's startled awake and she's just listening to Peeta and Gale talk about how Katniss is going to have to choose one of them. It's burned into my memory, Suzanne. Susie.
It, like, fails the opposite of the Bechdel test.
Yeah.
But, like, still, like, manages to fail the actual Bechdel test.
Yeah, and it's cringy because you're in the middle of a fucking war. And you're talking about that?
Oh, Katniss has got to choose one of us. Because that's what really matters in wartime.
Yeah, right? Like, and some people talk, like, there are a lot of people who have a lot of great theories and a lot of great things to say about, like, Katniss having kids at the end. That is not going to be something discussed here because I fucking hate the fact that she has kids at the end. So go find someone who cares and listen to them if you want that. Like, here's the thing. I don't hate the pregnancy trope. I hate the pregnancy trope in the way that a lot of women do, where it's not the fact that it's pregnancy that's the problem. It's the fact that, like, the idea of motherhood is the assumed happy ending of any female character, even though it is never brought up in the novel that they have any desire of having kids.
Yeah.
That is the frustration. And Katniss is very much doesn't want kids. And some people argue, like, oh, Katniss has grown as a person and she can finally, like, settle down and have kids and, like, live a life because the capital is no more and all of that stuff. And I get that, and I get that, and I get that. How fucking ever. The emotional catharsis of being free and safe made more sense if it was Prim who was with her and not a child that we never get to interact with.
Yes.
Like, it's the one thing about the third book that I don't like, and it's not because I'm such a Prim stan. I mean, I am such a Prim stan, but, like, the books, and this is what really, like, made me not like the Hunger Games for a while, is that the Hunger Games as a whole series felt irrelevant the moment Prim dies. What was the entire fight for?
Yeah.
If not for Prim. The one person who needed to stay alive the entire time was Prim. And I've devil's advocated this with myself where I'm like, oh, well, maybe the theme is like, you know, you can fight for the things that you want and you'll still lose them. And then you have to figure out how to be okay, you know, despite the fact that you lose the things that you were originally fighting for. It's a fucking boring story at that point. Like, when protagonists are fighting for something, you want to see them get it. And, like, you can understand a reasonable amount of losses along the way. But, like, I think because Rue died, we already had that emotional evisceration of that sort of loss that we didn't need to repeat it with Prim. And that it's like the one thing where I'm like, I wish you just would have kept Prim alive so that way we could feel a genuine emotional catharsis of, like, Katniss trying to move on, but her sister, the person she fought for the entire time, is now safe. And that's the most important thing to Katniss.
Yeah.
But all of that is thrown to the side because the boy that she likes matters more, and now she's got kids with them. Oh my god, if I had a nickel for every time I fell in love with a piece of literature where they very much love their sibling and then their sibling dies and then it comes about their love interest, I would have 2 nickels.
What's the other nickel?
It's this concept album called The Astonishing by Dream Theater. Like, these 2 brothers, it's Gabriel and Aries, and they're trying to rebel because music is banned where they are. And Gabriel's like this chosen one who can sing through these noise machines. And Aries, like, will do anything for his brother, and there's a lot of drama involved. And then there's, like, this insta-love story between Gabriel and this girl named Faith. And Faith and Aries both bite the dust. Guess which one gets resurrected? Not the brother! The one who was there the whole time, his insta-love girlfriend, that's who comes back. That's who comes back. I hate Faith. I hate Peeta. I hate Gale. Actually, I don't hate Peeta, I hate Gale. Because he's the reason why Prem died. It's like, and it's like, I get it. Love interests, right? These people who love each other. Siblings also love each other. Let siblings love each other and let siblings live for the love of God. Like, you don't need the bonds between 2 love interests to be your emotional catharsis in lieu of a sibling bond. Like,
that's a little creepy. That's a little Sweet Home Alabama if you ask me.
Not like that.
I know, but, like, in some cases, I feel like it could be that way.
It could be weird if you do it wrong. But I mean, like, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Like, that is absolutely a story about brothers.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm saying, like, replacing A
Oh!
character's like love for a sibling with a romantic partner is weird and incestuous and creepy.
Okay, we're on the same page
Yes,
now. I was
we are on the same
okay.
page. No, I will, as a Elric brother, Stan. I love those two until the day I freaking die.
Spoilers for Full Metal Alchemist, both versions. When my brother wanted me to start watching it, he told me the ending before I watched episode 1. He also did that with Death Note. And his reasoning would be because the story would be stupid if that's not how it ended. And like, to be fair, having that dramatic irony, it sort of switches your lens on how you evaluate the story, because I'm not ever thinking like, is Elric or is Edward going to save his brother? It's how. And sometimes that works. So like him spoiling both Death Note and Full Metal, it worked because I wasn't asking if, I was asking how, and that was still an entertaining way to consume the media. But he was like, don't watch the 2003 version because Edward does not save his brother and it's stupid.
And he'd be right.
My brother Tyler's got opinions.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so we're about an hour. I promised you I was gonna get us to the end.
Yeah.
Because this is...
I didn't doubt you for a second.
So I think that's where we're gonna put our pin on the Hunger Games, unless anything else weird happens between now and then, which I doubt. I don't know. You'll definitely hear things about Hunger Games. I'm a very opinionated person, and there are a lot of hills I want to die on. Any last things about the Hunger Games? Oh, what district do you think you'd be from?
3.
The technology district?
Yeah.
I honestly think that I would end up in one of the agriculture districts because I don't think I'm ever gonna escape food service.
Oh no!
I'm gonna be stuck at the public domain pizza parlor.
Oh no!
Oh, this has been The Feminine Bite with your hosts, Erin and Emily. Tune in for our next episode where we talk about the most unfunny men we could find on the internet.